How to Get Rich by Felix Dennis. Felix Dennis was a British publisher. At at the time of his death, he owned around 50 different magazines, including FHM stuff and a lot of different digital properties, websites, and all that stuff. Started selling magazines on the streets at the age of 20 and went on to be worth around $500 million with his whole magazine empire, the media empire. And there's a lot to learn from this guy. He's a philosopher of sorts. Again, this is not necessarily a story of how his rags to riches story and nothing else, but it's a lot of story, a lot of his philosophy, a lot of his understanding, a lot of his ideology about what it takes to become rich and what it takes to uh, really be wealthy if that's what you want to do. Let's take. He talks about his friends, Albert, the unlucky Albert, and why he failed in life, even though he was really intelligent, sharp, had the college degree and everything else. And while Albert failed, Felix succeeded. Here's what happened to Albert. And you might see there are things that you want to correct in your endeavor, in your entrepreneurial venture, because you might be doing what Albert was prone to doing quite a lot. Albert would stop himself at the first step. He could not understand that the first step is always the hardest. No matter what endeavor you're going to go after, your first step is going to be super hard. It's going to be tough. That's when your subconscious is going to try to sabotage it. Your your limbic system is going to say, I don't like this new thing. I don't want to do it. So the first step is going to be the hardest. And what Albert would always do is stop himself in the face of the first challenge, in the face of the first obstacle. He wouldn't even go and take the first step. And what did Albert do instead? He was waiting for a great idea. He's like, let me just figure out this great idea and then I can make it all work. Then I can be really successful. But what Felix Dennis says is that great ideas are dime a dozen. Great ideas are like running shoes. Great ideas are like running shoes. That's a really amazing analogy. Great ideas are like a running shoe while you still are in the competition. So if all you have is running shoes, but you refuse to run, the shoes will not get you anywhere. Execution is like running, while great ideas are like shoes, like running shoes. So having great ideas is like having great running shoes. But if you refuse to just run and hope that somehow the shoes will get you there, that will never happen. Unfortunately, in society, we're led to believe that when you have a great idea, when you need a great idea in order to be successful, in order to do great things in life, you need to start with a great idea, and that's what the great entrepreneurs did. Maybe you think of Zuckerberg or Bill Gates or all these guys, but that's not true. They all started where they were. They all started, but all they had in common was they executed. They executed like crazy. They executed, and kept on building on whatever small idea they had. The other thing that Albert was always stopped by was the idea that he was worried about what others would think. The fear of what others would think would always stop him. He would be worried about the mockery, the fact that his friends would make fun of him, or they would gloat when he would fail, when he would fall down, or they'd be jealous if any possibility of success. While what Felix says you need to do is you cannot care about other people. You cannot care about what other people think. That is the certainty in life. It is certain in life that people will mock you, people will make fun of you, people will gloat at your failures. That's a certainty. If you let yourself wait because of those people who are going to mock at you, who are going to gloat at your failures, who are going to basically pull you down, that you're going to wait forever, because you cannot stop people from talking negatively about your success or even about your failures. The other thing, really important idea, is that Albert might have had a desire. He might have wanted to become rich. He might have wanted to have more money and all that stuff. But he did not have a compulsion. What is a compulsion? Compulsion is so different from desire. Compulsion says, I will do whatever it takes to get to this goal. I will do whatever it takes to get to this dream, to this destination that I'm after. Compulsion is way more intense than just a regular desire. As Napoleon Hill, in his classic book, Think and Grow Rich, he talks a lot about the idea of having a burning desire. Not just a desire. A desire is not enough. A burning desire, an obsession, a compulsion. What compulsion does is it releases so much of your energy, so much of your potential energy into the system, and it makes you work so much harder, and you are so much more focused. You have so much more intensity to what you're doing. You have so much more power to everything you're doing. And then what Albert was doing all the time was that he would always say, "Oh, I am unlucky. I am unlucky because I don't have a great idea. I'm worried about what other people think. You have all the wisdom and the knowledge, but I don't have any of that." And he would always wear this mask of being an unlucky person, a sad, unlucky person. So this is Albert, a sad, unlucky person. However, what Felix was saying is you cannot wear the mask of feeling like an unlucky person and hope that life will work out okay. That will not happen. What will happen ultimately is the mask will become you. The mask will become you, in the sense you will become what the mask you thought you were putting on. You will become an unlucky person. If you continue to believe you're unlucky and things are not working out for you, that's what's going to happen in life. Just because you believe things are unlucky, do you think it's possible that suddenly you'll have more luck in life? No. So what Felix is saying instead is that you need to put on this hero mask. You need to feel like a hero. And he takes this analogy of back in the days in the Greek times when they were doing theater, the actors would put on these masks. They would put on the masks of the characters. Why would they do that? Because the masks make them come alive in that role. They make them feel those roles even more intensely. And that's what we do to ourselves when we wear these masks, when we wear these belief systems that I'm unlucky, I'm not good enough, that someone else is always lucky, someone else is the hero. Another thing, Albert was always worried about fear. He was always worried about loss. He was worried about failure. His fear of loss was incredible. However, what Felix is saying is we cannot let ourselves be stopped because of the fear of failure. We have to harness fear. We have to harness fear, and we have to use it such that it becomes a part of who we are. It's such that we can become better and better at it. We cannot let fear stop us. We have to harness fear. We have to harness the power of fear. Fear is very powerful in our lives, but it can do two things. It can either stop you, or it can make you take even more massive, bigger, powerful action. Now, the other great thing about this book is the paradoxes of trying to become rich, of the paradox of the struggle, the paradox of our lives in many ways. I love these paradoxes because they're so true in all our lives. But what we often find is that these paradoxes are all around us. So let's talk about the first paradox, because this book has so many paradoxes, and Felix actually talks about it. He says that paradoxes are for real and we have to manage them. We have to live with them. The first paradox is that we have to be okay with laughing at ourselves in the process, because we will fail, we will be miserable, we will struggle, we will have problems in life, but we have to be able to laugh at ourselves. And on the other side of this whole thing, while we also have to be able to laugh at ourselves, we have to be willing to die for what we're going after. We have to have so much compulsion that we're going to die for it. So on one hand, you're saying, I laugh at my problems, I laugh at these things, at these struggles that are in my way. On the other hand, you're saying, I'm willing to die for it. Such a paradoxical idea, but very important. We have to embrace these paradoxes. Another paradox, you look at this whole game of making money, of business, as a game. It is a game. It is a game. You're going to win some, you're going to lose some, you're going to win, you're going to lose. That's just a way a game works. However, even though it's a game, you have to have this massive compulsion. You have to have this massive compulsion to win, to do whatever it takes to make it happen. It is a game. You might win, you might lose, but you're going to be compulsed. You're not just going to live in this gray zone of, it's a game, it's okay, I don't care. You care, but still a game. Another thing, you're going to be okay even when you don't have the money. You're happy without it. You're not this unlucky face, unlucky mask. No, you're happy, you're okay. You realize this is the way it is. I am happy even when I don't have the money. That's what you're going to be able to live with. On the other hand, the other side of this paradox, the opposite is that you're going to be willing to die for your goal, for that ambition that you have. You're willing to die for it. You're going to do whatever it takes to make this dream a reality. Such a distant, just such a powerfully opposing ideas. You're happy without the money, you're okay without the money, and at the same time you're willing to die for it. On the other hand, what does Albert do? He's not happy without the money. He's just sad. He's miserable, and he's like moping. He feels unlucky, but at the same time he's not willing to die for it. He's not living on those extremes. He's living in this gray zone where none of these paradoxes really come alive. Another thing is that you have to have fun in this journey. You're going to go through the ups and downs. You're going to fail. You're going to rise. You're going to do all those things. You're going to have fun. But at the same time, you have to be intense. You have to go with intensity. Now, fun and intensity can be paradoxical because fun is lighthearted and all that fun. You have to be lighthearted, but at the same time, you have to be intense. You have to keep these paradoxes in mind. Again, another guy who talks a lot about paradoxes, Michael Phelps, his biography talks about it, how he had to feel like a champion. He had to feel like he was already a champion. At the same time, he had to have the hunger to feel like he had never won before. So similar paradoxes come into play here. Another paradox, you're okay with losing it all. You're okay with losing it all. And on the other end, you are a predator. You are an animal of, you're gonna eat it up. You're gonna make it happen. You're gonna do whatever it takes. You are a predator. You're gonna attack this problem. At the same time, you're okay with losing it all. If you lose it, so be it. And one of the most fundamental paradoxes, you're going to be okay with feeling the fear. You're going to feel the fear. There will be a lot of fear in your lives as you go along this journey, as you go and grow in this entrepreneurial journey. There will be so much fear. You will always you'll always be stepping into the zone where there's more fear. Unless you're going into the zones of more fear, you're not really living a full life. So you have to feel the fear, but at the same time, you have to do courage. You feel the fear, but you also do courage. The paradoxical idea, there is fear, but there is also courage. They don't exist independent of each other. They exist together. But what does Albert do instead? He avoids the fear. He doesn't even allow himself to feel the fear. And in the face of fear, he just walks away. He doesn't do courage. So he's living in the gray zone. That's what the Alberts of the world are living in, this gray zone. They're not living on the extreme of these paradoxes. They're not living intensely and then laughing at themselves intensely. They're not having fun intensely and they're not living like predators. They're living in the gray zone of life, and that is deadly. That will ensure that you will not succeed at your endeavor, at your business endeavor, at your entrepreneurial adventure. So, beautiful book, amazing insights by Felix Dennis. He passed away in 2014. Of course, go get the book. Highly recommend as a read for anyone who is a starting entrepreneur, an ambitious entrepreneur. You want to learn from Felix as well.